top premier landscaping and tree removal companies, Lawn Slayers has been providing landscaping and tree removal services since 2017. We are a comprehensive landscaping company specializing in lot clearing and lawn maintenance for residential and commercial properties undergoing any land transformation. Diversification and experience allows Lawn Slayers to conveniently offer, but not limited to, landscaping and tree removal services including grading, stump grinding, drainage systems, small retaining walls, pavers, mulch installation, flower beds, and overall lawn maintenance for all seasons. Our office is conveniently located in Stockbridge, Georgia, just 16 miles southeast of Atlanta. Customers are always captivated by our professionalism, efficiency, and attention to detail. Call Lawn Slayers today to schedule your quality land transformation.
What makes someone turn to violence? Is the question.
What's the point of protesting if we all can't come together and understand the reason of what we're up against?
Is it the condition that we live in? The movies we make? The music we listen to?
Shot in the back, no explanation for that. Other than I'm black, David Chappelle sketches funny but true. Sprinkle them with crack, imagine that. I'll take your life at this life. To hell with it.
Hi, welcome to Purpose Talk with Decembre. I'm here with the amazing cast of Pride, and this was a phenomenal movie, short. Yeah, phenomenal. Left me wanting more. Loved it. First thing I wanted to do is I want you all to introduce yourselves. If you could just turn quickly to the camera for me, just introduce yourself one by one.
Okay. Well, I'm Mike Lewis, the producer, director, the writer, editor of the film. So
I'm Mark Griffin. I play the part of Pedro.
Yes, my name is Will Thomas. I'm director of photography, also a producer.
And I am Jasmine Bledsoe, and I play the role of Edith.
All right, awesome. What is the purpose behind this movie? We're on Purpose Talk. So tell me, what is the purpose behind this short?
Well, the purpose of this short is really to start a conversation and to challenge the climate of social injustice that's rising within today. As you know, within the film, it shows issues of gun violence, it shows issues of police brutality, it shows issues of racial profiling, all these different things. So we want to start a conversation and have solutions and action steps with this film. So that's the purpose of it.
In this film, unfortunately, you pass away. Correct?
I do.
Was that a hard role for you to portray?
It wasn't hard. I think the hardest part about it was I had to keep my eyes open. So, and then I had the tears coming down. But I think, but looking back at it, I definitely got goosebumps, to be able to see myself on screen, passing away like that. But I think that was probably the toughest part of it, just having to stay still, almost hold your breathing until they say cut, and then keep my eyes open.
All right. And for you, ma'am, at the end, you played a very phenomenal role as being his friend. You, without actually telling the whole movie, because I did give you a spoiler, but spoiler alert. But without actually telling it, did you notice that as a race, as an African American female, did you notice it's just more crime when it comes to our race?
Like personally or within the movie?
Personally.
Personally, I don't know if I would say more. I do feel like it's publicized more.
Correct.
I feel like it's displayed more. And so I wouldn't say that we're more violent, but I do know that there are areas that are where violence happens more often than other areas, right? But as a people, man, I wouldn't say that we're more violent. I do believe we're portrayed as being more violent individuals and more dangerous, and I think that's an issue. But as far as statistics, I don't know for sure, but from my perspective, I believe there's violence everywhere from all walks of life, but we are portrayed as more violent individuals, and that's the unfortunate part about it.
Have you all noticed that even as a group and in creating these shorts, have you all noticed that we do protest more when there's a death, an untimely death of an African American? And you did hit on something in the movie about that. That is when we acknowledge these things. We don't acknowledge, coming together on holidays. We don't acknowledge coming together for Black History. We acknowledge it basically when someone passes away. So in making this short, what changes do you think can happen for us to come together more as a people?
Well, I think with that, it helped. It kind of talk about solution and how to celebrate each other, or as they say now, like give each other roses. When it comes with Black History Month, like a lot of time I feel like even purposely want to do it during Black History is to really this is a celebration. And even when we think about death, sometimes if you look at it another way, it's somebody's calling up. This is still a celebration because they done lived a fruitful life to where like somebody benefited, somebody got something from it. So it's like, you know what? Because of what this person impacted me, it causes me to do more, like for the community. It causes me to do more to let's come together and learn, And as one of the people said during the because I do stuff for the King Center, and during one of the panel discussions, they talk about one of the most powerful tools you can do to use within the world to challenge all these different things that's being publicized. It's education.
Correct. Yeah, and to add to that, this show's about being proactive. It's about starting the conversation before somebody is murdered. Starting the conversation and start taking steps for prevention. And like Mike was saying, it's about educating. And one of the best tools to educate now, especially among the youth and young people, is films. Because a lot of them we're so more visual. We got TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, social media is all about the visual aesthetics. So with this film, it's another form that can be relatable to that youth so the conversation can start. And then the education can begin. So instead of waiting for something to happen or waiting for them to come to us, we want to be proactive and go to them and meet them where they're at.
So do you think there is more violence with our younger people, our younger generation, instead of our older generation?
I think the older generation are the people who lived through it. The young ones are dead. They didn't make it to the age of 50, 60, 70 years old. So what we're trying to do now is get the ones that could die, that could get into a situation that we saw here and prevent them from suffering that fate. Because every generation that comes up, they think they know everything. They think this is the first time it's ever happened to them. But actually, when you're older, you said, no, that's the same thing I went through as a kid, but maybe in a different form. You know what I mean? So what we're trying to do now is tell them and show them that, yes, what we went through, we see where that path leads. Because I know when I was growing up, my mom would tell me to hang with those friends. I'm like, what are you talking about? These are my homies. I used to tell her that. You don't know what you're talking about. But now as an adult, wow, I look back and say, yo, those people were going to lead me along the wrong path. Correct. So now I'm becoming my mom and my dad. But this time I try to be cooler than them. Obviously, use the film medium and with the working with Mike to be able to tell that story in a way they understand. So they can sit there and think. You know, something that Jasmine said earlier, you know what I mean, about the title Pride, is just put our pride aside for just 10 seconds and think. And that's all we want. So many deaths, so many murders could have been avoided.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just thank God, because I've been in situations like that. You know what I mean? Where one wrong thing could have been my life, could have been over. But you know, we had that moment of time to think. And I sat there and said, instead of being the aggressor or agitating the situation, I chose to be quiet and choose a non-violent method.
Briefly speaking, this film really hit home, and I love it. My son was murdered by gun violence about 2 years ago at 20. So looking at all of the different aspects of how we can eliminate gun violence, and as you said, stop, think, let's take other choices, let's make other choices, look at our options of what we can do, because we all have a bad day. I know I've been in McDonald's and the cashier rubbed you wrong and you could jump across the counter. But just thinking, how can we impact the youth and make better decisions, and how can we educate them? So a film like Pride is not only awesomely written and directed, but just as a cast, your portrayal of let's think otherwise, let's do otherwise, let's come together more than on these terms of just because someone has died. I think that is an awesome point that we should continue to hit on. What do you see going next? What's next? What do we have next?
So with the film, or just what's next?
Both.
So
first with the film.
So with the film, I'm gonna just put it out there now. We are starting. This is the kickoff. Okay. So right now, the next thing is we're gonna start having virtual experiences. So like next month, we're gonna plan a virtual experience to where not only people in our communities, but people around the world get this type of experience, this type of exposure, and even just learn. And as far as like what we trying to do here in Atlanta, and as well as like another thing I do want to hit on is the arts. Because I believe, I'm a strong believer that one way to connect to the youth, to the younger generation, is through the arts. Because like for me, like I'm a big music person. Yeah. it spills all over the film.
Right.
But one thing I feel like the messaging and even trying to educate them is not only just through the film, but even with the music. Like what you putting in your ears. Can that like help like dismantle these different types of stigmas that's being embedded within our culture? So it's like we really trying to change things. So we're coming through with music, we're coming with films. Next thing, we're gonna try to do feature films. We're raising funding, donate to Mike Lewis Productions for Cash App, or go to the website, MikeLewisProductions.com, to where there's a button on it that says donate to future films, to where we're trying to do more projects like this and expose it to bigger audiences, and even just having seminars and workshops and partnerships, all these things. But it's all start with just a step of faith. So that's it.
And I want to. Oh, go ahead.
What's next?
I told him whatever he needs from me, from this film and going forward. We've been working together for a long time anyway. But I told him, even if it's in the background, because I believe in what they're doing. I believe in growth, and I've seen it over the years. So, just being a brother, and I think you asked the question earlier about what can we do to come together other than just when somebody dies. And I think supporting your brothers is one of those things that we could do. So whatever they need from me, even if it's behind the scenes, I'm down.
Yeah, so me and Mike actually did another project a couple of years ago called City Takers.
Yeah.
It's a documentary that we went and followed some rappers who were Christian who decided to go into the hood and minister the gospel. So a lot of crazy things happened because they didn't go to the nicest of places. And that's a project me and him worked on for the passion project of ours. Yeah. So we're working on getting that through distribution through Apple, movies, Amazon Prime, Netflix, Tubi. So that's the one that we got coming out probably in the next couple of weeks. You know, he's waiting for things to get clear. So that's another one. We were kind of low key about it.
Yeah,
We're good. We know now.
Right. Exclusive. So that will be coming soon, and I'm also concerning Pride. I think, you know, getting more funds, of course, but then to be able to just continue this story. I don't know if it would be an anthology where we have a lot of different stories that come together, or it'd be continuing with these characters, but the message is going to stay the same. The message of nonviolence, the message of stop and think will be the same. I know that for a fact, and I'm excited, you know what I mean? Because Mike is a visionary, and he sees things from a great perspective that not only can adults get it, but then the youth connects to it as well. So I'm very excited about that project, whatever that may be, whenever he writes it.
Great. And how about for you, man?
Well, I actually wanted to add to what he was saying, what Mike was saying about a creative outlet. Just if I could go back real quick, I do think providing opportunities where youth can be creative and use that as a coping mechanism versus responding the way that, in a sense, they may have been trained to respond. Because art is very powerful. And so, yes, they are watching the film, but it would be so dope. I even had this idea, like, I'm just throwing it out there, but like, if there are some kids for your next projects, like you take under your wing and you show them the road to production, that's another way of like people, I'm not trying to put more on your plate, but
no, I'm gonna give you a story. It's another exclusive. So
hold on, Mike,
another one.
I'm gonna let you finish.
But I just wanted to like mentoring through the arts is powerful, and I think that is a way that youth can. That we can kind of pull them from out of their circumstance and give them another outlet. Even if we can't take them out of that environment, we can give them a place to go, you know. And there are lots of mentoring programs and a lot of communities and stuff like that that are available. And I honestly think we can use more, and everyone operating in their gift in that way to help others. And so I just want to speak to the creative aspect of that because art is very powerful. And what's next for me is continue on this journey of acting. If Mike wants to extend the character of Edith, you already know I'm down. But I also am actively auditioning for movies, TV shows. I take this very seriously, so I consider myself a professional.
Yes.
So as far as the music is concerned, I've been rapping for some time, so that's also going to continue. I have my own nonprofit. I do a whole bunch of other things within the arts. And so I'm just going to continue down that road.
All right, awesome. And you were saying, what was you saying, your next exclusive?
No, it's not as exclusive, but
another one.
But it's a affirmation.
Okay.
So with this, like, I did have like a young high school kid. He's a mentor. He said, like, he came to me like, I want you to be my mentor, and I want you to kind of show me about filming, about videography. And I brought him on a couple of productions so far. And ironically, when it came, he was supposed to be here today, but this morning, like, his family experienced gun violence. Like, he lost his cousin. Like, he got shot and passed away. And I'm like, if this is not an affirmation for me and what we're all doing, I know God has a purpose in what we're doing and why we are aligned. For that to happen, and even just for him not being here, but yet having the tools with the arts, like, I was able to send him music, like, to help dealing with, like, how one of the songs with dealing with grief, like, and having that opportunity to give that to him, like, and I feel like God is really affirming the things of what we're doing, regardless of, like, what we might think of the outcome or the moment. But if we just put aside the pride and just step out on purpose, God, He's gonna do so much things of what we could fathom. So that was like my affirmation nugget.
The songs in the movie was phenomenal.
Yeah.
You wrote one of them, correct?
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did. I wrote my verse, the one I'm performing. Yeah.
Okay, all right. And you wrote
Yeah.
the majority of it as well.
Yes, I wrote the poem that was in the film. I wrote the singing, the R&B song. Well, it's not really R&B, but it can call it R&B. But the song, I wrote that. I gave each of the writers a creative direction as far as like to be aligned in the vision. So, and as Mark Griffin, he wrote the scared of our love song. I like, bro. Every time I tell him, every time I tell this to my wife, every time I hear that song, I have that fire just get blazing more. Like, cause like, man, we really gotta go out and do something about it. So,
My final question. Do you all feel like you found your purpose in what you're doing today? Do you feel like you found your purpose?
Yes. There's a feeling of accomplishment that I get from working on projects such as this. I just don't get anywhere else. And to be able to people to see this film and get it and to catch the message, that to me is the blessing. Whether you agree with it or not, it doesn't matter to me. Let's talk about it. And I think that's the important thing, is that starting the conversation. And that's what the goal was. And I feel like we have accomplished that. And doing this film, I know filmmaking is my purpose. This is what I'm called to do. There's nothing else I would rather do than to work with great people like this on stage and continue to educate, and educate.
Anyone else?
Yeah. 100%. I consider myself under the umbrella of storytelling. I storytell through acting, I storytell through music, and content that I write. I have a coloring workbook out, and so I do storytelling. And so through various different avenues, and that definitely is my purpose, to be a storyteller, but a storyteller that not just telling stories for the sake of telling stories. There is always a message behind what I'm doing. And if like, I wouldn't get behind this project with Mike if I didn't believe that there was a message that needed to be shared. And so with my acting career, I actually want to be a part of projects with stories that I believe in and that align with my values, my vision, and what God has called me to do. So this is the first one of many.
Many, yes.
And I know, Mike, you found your purpose. And you feel the same?
I believe so. So a lot of times it hits me because I do what I love.
Right.
So, sometimes I question myself, like, am I in that lane? But then I get messages from people that said, keep going, or you're inspiring me. So yeah, I believe so. It's just, I go from, like Jasmine said, from acting to music to poetry. It's a wide range of things. So you kind of be like, should I just be in one lane, or, do I just use all of them? So, I believe so. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Where can we find you? I know you gave us the website earlier. Can you reiterate what the website is and so on with your social media?
Yeah, so you can find me at Mike Lewis Productions on Instagram, Facebook, MikeLewisProductions.com, the website. You can follow the film, Pride, the short film, on Instagram. Yeah, that's how you can find me.
And I'm at Mark Griffin MGP, so Mark is with a C. Mark Griffin MGP.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Will Thomas. I'm sorry, got so many things in my head. At Director Will Thomas. At Director Will Thomas #2, and then my website is thewillthomas.com.
And you can find me, my name is Jasmine Nikeo, that's my artist name. So on Instagram, that's JazmineNikao. So like Nike, but KAO instead of KE. On website and on Instagram.
Well, thank you all again for allowing us to be here. Thank you for tuning in to Purpose Talk with Decembre on Preach the Word Network Worldwide. every Wednesday, 10 a.m., reaching over 80 million homes worldwide. Thank you again. And we look forward to watching Pride. Oh my gosh. You all have to catch it. Where can we find it at again? Tell them one more time. Where can we find Pride?
You can find the trailer on YouTube. You can find it on my website, MikeLewsProductions.com. You can like Instagram, TikTok. Look, you can go on all the streaming platforms. Pride, the soundtrack. You go stream it. Apple Music, iTunes.
Spotify.
There we go.
Not Spotify. You're saying Spotify.
iHeartRadio. We on all the platforms, so it's available now. So yep, it's available now. So that's look, and then and as you continue to follow us, you'll follow more updates to come as other film festivals, other screenings, in person and virtual. So we're coming.
You coming?
Thank you again for tuning in. If you missed Purpose Talk with Decembre on Preach the Word Network Worldwide, you can always find us on YouTube at Purpose Talk. You all have a blessed evening.